Let's talk about disappearance. Not the witness protection kind. Not the running away from your problems kind. I'm talking about a different kind of vanishing act. A strategic, deliberate, and powerful choice to become a ghost to the world so you can finally come alive for yourself. Look around you. Right now, your phone pings someone else's opinion. Your social feed scrolls a highlight reel of comparisons. Your inbox dings another demand on your time, your energy, your focus. You are living in a perpetual state of reaction. You are a satellite, constantly receiving signals from 1,000 different stations, and the static is drowning out your own frequency, your own voice, your own mission. So what happens when you step off that grid? Not forever, but for a season, for a dedicated, purposeful period of time. What happens when you stop broadcasting and start building? That's the power we're tapping into here. This isn't about isolation for its own sake. This is about creation. You cannot build your masterpiece while you're constantly giving public tours of the construction site. You need to lock the gates, put up the scaffolding, and get to work where no one can see the dust, the mistakes, or the sweat. Think about it. Every single time you post an achievement, a goal, a day won, something inside you registers a tiny hit of satisfaction. You got the likes, the comments, the "you got this," and neurologically, that can trick your brain into feeling like the work is already done. You've received a reward for the announcement, not the accomplishment. You've traded the long-term payoff for the short-term dopamine. You've cashed the check before you even earned the money. Strategic disappearance breaks that cycle. It says, my validation will come from the work itself. It says, my progress is for my eyes only until I choose to reveal it. When you remove the audience, you remove the performance. You are left with raw, unfiltered reality. You are left with you, the mirror, and the mountain you need to climb. And in that quiet, terrifying, beautiful space, real growth isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Because here's the truth everyone is afraid to say. Most people don't really want you to change. The system you live in, your social circles, even some family, the algorithms that feed you content, they thrive on you staying predictable. They have you categorized. You're the funny one, the reliable one, the one who's always busy but never seems to get ahead, the one who talks about going to the gym. They have a box for you, and that box maintains the equilibrium. When you disappear to rebuild yourself, you are essentially smashing that box. And your absence? It creates a vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. They will wonder, they will speculate. But more importantly, you will finally get to decide what fills that space when you return, not their expectations. Let's get practical. What are you disappearing from? The noise, the constant, low-grade anxiety of comparison, the need to curate your life for public consumption, the obligation to be on and available 24/7. You're disappearing from the opinion of the crowd so you can finally hear the whisper of your own conviction. That book you want to write? It won't write itself between Instagram scrolls. That body you want to build? It won't be forged in the gym between checking notifications. That business idea, that skill, that deep healing you need to do, it requires a level of focus that feels almost impossible in the modern world. So you make it possible. You create the conditions. You become a ghost. This is the first and most critical step, the decision, the mental flip. You are not losing connection. You are gaining traction. You are not being left behind. You are building the engine that will allow you to lap everyone later. It is an act of immense self-respect. It is you saying to yourself, I am worth a period of uninterrupted development. My potential is valuable enough to protect, even from well-meaning distractions. Imagine a sculptor. Does she chisel the masterpiece in the town square, with everyone shouting suggestions, handing her different tools, commenting on every chip of stone? No. She goes into her studio. She closes the door. She faces the block of marble alone, with only her vision and her hands for company. The world outside forgets she's even in there. For months, there's just silence from that studio. Then, one day, she opens the doors and reveals David. The shock, the awe, doesn't come from the revelation itself. It comes from the fact that no one saw it coming. They didn't see the struggle, the thousands of hammer strikes, the dust-filled days. They only see the breathtaking result. That studio is your 6 months. That door is your decision to disappear. And the masterpiece? That's the person you are choosing to become right now by even entertaining this idea. So I ask you, what is that thing you've been talking about for years? What is that version of yourself you fantasize about when you're lying awake at night? What is it that feels just out of reach because you're always pulled in 10 different directions? Now imagine giving that version of you all of your attention. Not 10%, not the leftovers at the end of a drained day, but your prime focus, your morning energy, your creative peak, your unwavering discipline, directed at one thing or one small set of things for 6 straight months, with no one to report to, no one to perform for. Just you and the work. That is the power of strategic disappearance. It is the ultimate environment for a metamorphosis. The caterpillar doesn't transform in the middle of the sidewalk. It creates a chrysalis, a sealed, private, sacred space where its old body breaks down into literal soup, complete chaos, before rearranging itself into something that can fly. Your 6 months is that chrysalis. You need to allow yourself that same biological imperative for transformation, to dissolve the old in private so the new can form without being disturbed. This is the foundation. This is the why that makes the how possible. Without this conviction, you'll last a week. With it, you can withstand anything, because you're not hiding, you're incubating, and what's about to hatch will shock everyone. The first step isn't to tell the world you're leaving. It's to tell yourself you're arriving, right here, right now, in this decision. Everything else follows. So you've made the decision. You understand the why. Now we build the how. This is where dreams meet the ground. This is your blueprint. You don't just vanish and hope for the best. Hope is not a strategy. You engineer your disappearance with the precision of a special ops mission. We call it the Ghost Protocol. And it starts with one non-negotiable rule, the digital blackout. This isn't just deleting apps. It's a complete severing of the digital umbilical cord. You deactivate social accounts. You mute group chats. You turn off non-essential notifications. You create a digital vacuum. Why? Because every ping is a tiny theft. It steals a fragment of your focus, a piece of your precious mental real estate. For 6 months, your mind is a private lab, and you are the experiment and the scientist. No interruptions. Next, you define the target. What does shock everyone actually look like for you? It's not vague. It's visceral. Is it walking into a room 30 pounds lighter? Moving with a quiet confidence that wasn't there before? Is it launching a website with a portfolio of work so good it leaves people speechless? Is it speaking a new language fluently, or playing an instrument, or holding a finished manuscript in your hands? Get specific. Write it down. This is your point on the map. Now reverse engineer it. Break that massive goal into quarterly milestones, then into monthly targets, then into weekly actions, then into your daily rituals. This is the architecture of your transformation. Your days will no longer be a reaction to the world. They will be a deliberate, repeated sequence of actions that build your new self. At 6 a.m., you are here. At 7 a.m., you are doing this. For 2 hours in the evening, you are immersed in that. Your discipline is built into your calendar. You are not relying on motivation. You are building a system that runs whether you feel like it or not. This blueprint also includes your environment. You must curate your physical space to support your mission. What books are on your desk? What food is in your kitchen? What visuals are on your walls? Your surroundings should scream your goal, reminding you of it when your resolve weakens. And finally, you must preempt the resistance. You tell key people, family, maybe a boss, a simple, clean story. I'm going deep on a big project for a while. I'll be less available, but I'm fine. You don't ask for permission. You state your intention. You manage expectations. This prevents the well-meaning rescue party from busting down your door when you in the middle of your most important work. This blueprint is your on track with your future self. It is the concrete proof that this isn't a fantasy. It's a construction project. When you lay it out, you see the path. It's hard, but it's clear. And there is an immense power in that clarity. The anxiety of what should I do disappears. It's right there on the page. All you have to do is follow your own expertly drawn map. So pick up the pen, open the calendar, design your protocol. The ghost doesn't just fade away. It moves with intention to a destination only it can see. Now we get to the heart of it, the part they don't put in the montage. This is the lonely work, the discipline of invisibility. It's week 3, or month 2. The initial excitement has faded. The silence in your room is no longer peaceful, it's loud. Your phone is a brick, no notifications, no check-ins, no digital pats on the back. And a thought will creep in, sharp and cold. Does any of this even matter? Is anyone going to notice? This is the critical juncture. This is the moment where most people give up and break their own disappearance. Because they were working for the applause, and when the applause doesn't come, they think the play must be over. But I need you to understand the silence is not your enemy. It is your alchemy. This is where the real transformation is forged. In the absolute absence of external validation, when there is no one to perform for, you are forced to ask yourself the rawest question possible. Am I doing this for them, or am I doing this for me? Think of the greatest athletes. At 5 a.m., in an empty pool, a swimmer does lap after lap. The stands are empty. No one is cheering. There's just the burn in her lungs, the black lin, on the bottom of the pool, and the choice to push for one more. She is a ghost in that moment, invisible to the world. That is where gold medals are made, not on the podium, but in the unseen, repetitive, lonely work. That's you, right now. Your 5 a.m. study session, your evening practice when you're exhausted, the healthy meal you cook alone. No one is posting about it. No one is giving you a trophy. You have to become your own coach, your own cheerleader, and your own reason. You will have to fall in love with the process itself, the feel of the pages turning, the strain in your muscles, the quiet satisfaction of a problem solved. You must learn to mine motivation from a deeper vein, not from the shallow soil of likes, but from the bedrock of your own self-respect. Every time you choose the work in the silence, you are sending a powerful message to your deepest self. I am a person of my word. I can trust myself. It's hard because it's meant to be hard. This is the fire that burns away the old, needy version of you, the one that required constant approval to feel legitimate. You are being tempered, strengthened from the inside out. The person who emerges from this silence doesn't need a crowd to feel confident. Their confidence is built in, earned in private, paid for with solitary discipline. So when the loneliness feels heaviest, I want you to smile. That feeling is the signal. It means you're on the right path. It means you're far enough away from the shore that you can no longer see the crowd. All you can see is the horizon. And the only thing that will get you there is your own 2 hands on the oars, pulling consistently, faithfully, through the quiet sea. Keep going. The world doesn't need to see you sweat. It only needs to be stunned by your strength when you finally decide to show it. This is not about a grand announcement. You don't throw open the doors and yell, "Ta-da!" That's the old you seeking attention. The new you operates differently. You don't declare your transformation, you simply let it be observed. You understand that true shock isn't delivered in a press release. It's delivered in a quiet moment of undeniable proof. Think of it like this: you've been working in the dark, forging a new blade. You don't come out screaming about how sharp it is. You simply cut through a problem everyone else thought was uncuttable. And you do it with a calm ease that leaves them stunned. Your re-entry must be phased, intentional. You don't flood back into every chat and feed. You reappear in actions, not in words. Maybe it's showing up to a meeting with a solution so elegant it changes the entire conversation. Maybe it's accepting an invitation and people physically do a double take because your presence is different. Calmer, stronger, more contained. Maybe it's quietly publishing the work and letting the work speak for itself. This is where you reap the reward of the lonely work, unshakable poise. When people ask, "Where have you been? What have you been up to?" You'll simply smile, a smile that knows something they don't, and give a modest, truthful, yet incomplete answer. "I've been focused on a few projects, learning some new things," and you leave it at that. The mystery is part of the power. Let them connect the dots. Let them be the ones to whisper, "My God, what did they know?" Because you didn't just build a skill or a better body. You built an identity that is no longer dependent on their opinion. You know what you're capable of, because you did it for an audience of one yourself. So their praise is nice, but it doesn't define you. Their skepticism is irrelevant, because you have your own proof. This calm confidence is the ultimate shockwave. Your life, no longer a plea for validation. It is a presentation of evidence. You have the evidence of your discipline, the evidence of your finished work, the evidence in your calm eyes. You don't need to convince anyone. The transformation is now a fact, and facts are quiet. They just stare. So you re-enter the world not with a shout, but with a deeper frequency, a gravity. People won't just see a new haircut or hear about a new job. They will feel a different energy around you. They will sense that the rules have changed. You changed them. In silence, the ghost doesn't announce its presence. It is simply noticed. And in that moment of being truly seen for who you have become, you realize the final, beautiful truth. You didn't disappear to shock them. You disappeared to build something so real that when you returned, the only person truly shocked by the depth of their own power was you